Welcome back. So this is Maya Andreasen, and we have so far made our rig for our character so that our character has body controls, our character has knee controls, our character has feet controls, and now we need some neck and eye control. So we're gonna have to make joints for that. So I'm gonna go into the right side view, and before I go any further, let's save my scene as. So this is going to be saved as head version 1. Notice I'm saving things based on the sections of the body that I'm working on. That way, if I mess up on a certain section, I can always go back to the previous section and I'll know which version it is because I've named them accordingly. So let's say I'm messed up on part of my spine. I could go back to spine version 2, maybe that's the one that's still fine, and start from there and continue going on, and I don't lose too much time. All right, so we're gonna go to our create joint tool. Remember, you can always go to skeleton, create joints if you need to. And I'm going to press V and have my pointer over to the side. I'm actually gonna make a joint on top of this joint, and then I will parent that joint to the spine. But right now, I'm just going to create it. And then I am going to create an upper neck joint. And then I am going to create a head joint in the middle of the head. And then a head tip joint. Let's do that. And then I'm actually going to go back down using my arrow keys, if it'll let me. There we go. And I'm going to make a jaw joint, because I only need one of these. So it's going to go like that. And then I'm going to press enter, so I'm going to make the eyes a little bit separately. All right, in order to make these joints a little bigger or a little smaller, you can either change the size of the joint over here under radius, so I could do 0.4 if I wanted to. That's only going to make that one smaller. So if I want to make all of these smaller, I can select all of them and uniformly go 0.4. So every single one of these joints now is a little bit smaller. Let's actually make them 0.3. I could also make them bigger. So now I can see these joints and the one that's superimposed on the top of the spine. All right, now they need to be named. And these are still central joints. So this one is going to be BN for bind underscore neck A 01. And let me just copy that because there's a neck B. And this is my neck B joint. Now we could also just have this joint connected to this joint, but I actually want my neck to be able to kind of nod. So I want to have those two different neck joints there. All right, this is going to be my head joint, BN underscore HEAD 01. And this is going to be the BE underscore head 01 because it's the head end joint. This is going to be my BN bind jaw joint. And then this is going to be BE for end, BE underscore jaw 01. All right, so we have a number of end joints and we have a number of head joints. All right, so now we need to make sure these are all oriented correctly. So let's select the hierarchy and turn on our LRAs, or our local rotation axes. So let's see how this is going. So this actually looks pretty good. If I select this one and turn its LRAs on, you actually can't see the difference, which means they're lining up perfectly. All right, got the X going up, the Y going back, and the Z going to the side. And it looks like that for all of these, except for the tip joints. We're just going to do RJT to fix that up. This one looks good. So we're going to do RJT to fix that up. All right, now that we know all of our joints are oriented properly, we can turn off our local rotation axes. We don't actually need them right now, but we do need to create some controls. So I'm going to save this and go to the right side view. And I'm actually going to save this now as a version 2. And continue. All right, so we're going to make some triangles pointing towards the body. And to do that, you need to go to Create Curve Tool Options box for the CV Curve tool. Make sure your curve degree is 1 linear. I'm going to press X on my keyboard and not let go in order to create a triangle. I create a triangle and I hit enter. You want your triangle to be a little less wide, you can always take the vertices and bring them back. So I could have made my triangle like that, which really I should have. So anyway, here's my triangle, my first one. And what I'm going to do is now center my pivot and delete my history. And press V and snap it to the neck. I'm then going to freeze transformations. And I'm going to go into component mode, and I'm going to scale it so that it's smaller, and also move it back. And make sure it's easily selectable. You can also rotate it if you want to, so that it's kind of like pointing at the neck a little bit. You can do that too if you want. All right, so this needs to be named. It's going to be CC_neck A01, because this is a control curve for the bind joint neck A01. So it's named exactly the same. All right, so now that we have done that, make sure you've frozen transformations, all those fun things. We are going to, first off, I'm going to select my smaller joint, and I'm going to do LAT. So I have this nice big locator here, and the locator is named accordingly. I'm going to make it smaller. I'm going to make it 0.7. Okay. And this locator is now oriented to the neck joint. So we're going to now select the locator, shift select the joint, and constrain orient again, because we only want our neck to rotate. We don't want it to translate. We're not doing funky chicken now. We're just doing nodding. All right, so let's see if this works. Oh, it does. That's fantastic. So now with our locator selected, we can shift select our control and hit key to parent. And then we can select our control and test it out. And as you can see, it works great. So that's fantastic. So now that I've done that, I'm actually going to duplicate this and snap the duplicate up here. Now, I'm actually going to delete the locator and create a new locator. So that locator, we're going to use the LAT tool. It is now oriented properly to the joint. Make it 0.7, make it 0.5. Yeah, that's better. For this control, we're going to freeze transformations, delete history, and make sure the pivot point is where it needs to be. It is. Let's take a look at our character in reference mode. So I think I'm going to grab this control in component mode, make it a little bit smaller. Maybe move it a bit, maybe rotate it a bit. And then we can also rotate this one, so it's pointing a little bit more up. All right, and then let's put this back in template mode so we can kind of see what's going on. All right, so with our locator B selected, we're going to shift select the joint and constrain orient. And then if we test it out, it should work, and it does. So with our locator selected, we'll shift select the control and hit key to parent, and let's see if this works. And indeed it does. All right, before we go any further, let's parent our neck B control to our neck A control. So I'm selecting this control, just selecting this one, hitting P to parent. So now when I select neck A, it also selects neck B. Let's make them yellow. And I want to parent even further. Remember, we're doing an FK system here. So with neck A controlled, or neck A chosen, I'm going to shift select my upper body control and hit P to parent. And then lastly, before we go any further, because these are not attached, Let's select my neck A joint, shift select my spine B joint, and hit P to parent. Uh-oh, what happened here? So I want to parent neck A to neck B, but it does this. So let's take a look at this. First, let's move this into joints. And let me pause. Okay, so the issue that was going on there is because I have an orient constraint connected to my neck A. So I'm going to delete that. I'll recreate it. It's not a big deal. But I should have really parented these immediately. So now these are both parented to one another, which is great. And now this, okay, this locator, let's take a look at this locator. This is my neck locator. I just want to make sure it's the neck locator. And let's constrain orient it. There we go. Now it's rotating properly. Yay. And then we are going to parent it to this one. Actually, no, we're not. Let's see. This control has a value on it, which is not good. So I'm actually going to shift P to unparent it because I need to make sure that it doesn't have any values on it. And I think because I parented to this guy, uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. So I did not freeze transformations for my upper body control. So let's kind of break down how to fix something like this, because this is an issue. We do not have to redo everything, but we are going to have to redo a couple things. So the first thing I'm going to do is unparent my upper body control. I'm going to unparent it, and I'm going to also unparent it from its locator. I am then going to freeze transformations to my control, which I should have done to begin with. Now I can parent it, and it should be fine. It is. It's good. And there's no values on this control. There's no values on this. I was a little bit more careful, which is nice. Okay, so now that this is parented properly, I can select this upper body control, shift select my mid control, and P to parent. And as we can see, we have no values here, which is fantastic. And then my neck controls, and let's see, I might have to redo, nope, I don't have to redo that, that's fantastic. So now when I select my neck A control and shift select my upper body control and hit P to parent, this control doesn't have any values on it. So if you accidentally mess up and don't freeze transformations, don't freak out, don't get super upset. You can undo it without redoing everything, which is great. So let's save that, because we do need to do that. All right, so let's take a look at my neck B control, and it's working. All right, so now we need a head control. And we're going to save here and then start a new version, save scene as head 03. All right, so I'm going to go to front view. Now, this is pretty cool. And I'm going to make a curve. So I'm going to go to create curve to a 2-point circular curve. These are cool. So I'm going to press X, and I'm going to put the curve on equidistance on either side of my character's head. So from the center of the grid, that's like 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Press X. Oh, and check that out. So now we have a curve. It's upside down. If we click this tiny, tiny, tiny blue dot here, there's an even smaller one in the middle that looks like a power button. That's going to flip our curve so that it's the right side up. And then there's a little tiny blue dot that looks like a diamond, and we should be able to make this a little bit bubbled up, like almost like a dome instead of just a equidistance half circle. And then when you're done, you hit enter. And look at that. That is cool. So we could further position around the character's head by just grabbing the vertices and hitting R and bringing it in and do things like that. I don't really feel like doing that, but I do want to show you that it can work. Okay, so then the other thing we need to do is we need to parent it properly. So it is not parent, but snap. So I'm going to press V and snap it to the character's head joint. I'm also going to freeze transformations and delete the history. Let's go back to front view and make sure this is easily selectable. All right, so it's a little bit off filter, I feel like, just because of where his hair is. So I'm just gonna position it a little bit more and a little bit higher. Remember to only do that in component mode. All right, and then we're gonna go back to template mode. All right, so with my character's head, here, let's do this. Let's freeze transformations, delete history, and let's name it. So this is going to be CC_head01. This is our head control. We'll make it yellow, might as well. We'll save what we have, why not? And then I am going to select my head joint, click LAT, locator alignment tool, select my locator, make it a little bit smaller. With my locator selected, I'm going to shift select the joint and constrain orient. We do not need our head translating, we just need it rotating. So let's test it out, and that looks like it works great. Fantastic. All right, so with my locator selected, I'm going to shift select my control and hit P to parent. Then I'm going to select my control, my head control, shift select my neck control, and hit P to parent. I'm then going to save everything. It's always important. Let's do this. All right, so I am now going to clean everything up. And our next video, we will create a jaw control and eye controls. And then we'll do the arms and fingers and finish everything up. Let's clean up first. So I'm going to select these knee controls here. And I'm going to put them under, I'm going to control select control objects and hit P to parent. So they are within the control objects. And then I'm going to clean up these controls. So with these, you know, we can rotate this one. We can move this one forward and back. So we just need to lock and hide, scale, and visibility. I'm right mouse pressing to bring up that menu. For this one, we only want it rotating. So I'm just going to select drag, select, translate, and then press Control and drag, select, scale, and visibility. You can also get to channels, lock and hide selected by going through the channels menu directly that way. All right, this guy's only rotating also. The upper body control, and both of the neck controls and the head control, all three of them. So I can select all three of them and lock and hide, translate, scale, and visibility for all of them at once. The other thing that we are going to do is lock and hide all of these locators because we actually don't need their visibility. They're fantastic. They're getting us to get our controls to move the way we want them, but we don't actually need them visible. So under visibility, I'm just typing in 0. Since these are all parented directly to the controls, we don't have to worry about them making the controls disappear. They are the children of the controls. All right, so this is a nice clean rig, and we'll be done soon. All right, till next time, bye-bye.